Welcome to another episode of Talking Nerdy in the Bedroom with
Corey,
KJ,
and Mike.
And we are back with our first Halloween episode of the year.
Spooky.
We're a little bit late for being in October, but yeah, we're going to do some Halloween movies. Last year we did some terrible Halloween movies, or terrible scary movies that weren't scary and were, I don't know. Teeth I still like just because I watched it when I was younger. Rubber
bad.
was awful.
Also bad.
Awful. What was the other one that we watched? There was another one.
it was Teeth, Rubber, and Feast.
Oh, Feast. Yeah, the one I picked. Right.
I was going to say, that was
the one I
bad.
picked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feast was probably the best one out of them.
Well, I mean, Teeth was the best movie. I just don't want to watch it because it makes me feel some kind of way.
Dentata.
Yeah. Vagina dentata. It does exist. Best line in a movie ever.
All right, but now we're going to be talking about some horror favorites. I picked the movie Saw. We're probably only going to talk about the first, maybe the second one, and hype up the new one that just came out, which is Saw 10. Mike picked It, so part 1, part 2, and we're probably going to talk about the earlier version, the mini-series from back in the 90s? Was it 90s?
I don't know.
But there was just an It movie.
No,
There
so
is.
it's
Wait, what
mini-series that was on TV.
Oh, I didn't saw that.
Really? With Tim Curry?
Wasn't it just a 2-part?
Yeah, but that's still a mini-series.
It's basically a movie. Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half, very similar to the
They used to
newer
do that
one.
on
it was
TV
just-
all the time,
That
like
was just
Attila.
It movie. I don't know. I thought it was just an old, 80s It movie.
Yeah, no, so technically it was a mini-series. They did it with Storm of the Century, too, another Stephen King book that they adapted to television. And it's
they put
basically
it in
just...
a 2 VHS.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
of them
I
were
bet
an hour and a
if
half,
you didn't
2
watch it
hours.
on TV, you probably did watch it as like a movie.
Yeah,
I think that's
and
how
it
it
was
came.
a 2, not disc, video cassette.
VHS?
Yeah, there was 2 of them. Like Titanic used to be in 2
Yeah.
tapes. It was like that. And then Corey picked Cabin in the Woods, which we're gonna start with just because I want to hear Mike's thoughts on it.
Best of the 3.
Well, no, Saw is the best of the 3 by a large margin.
No.
There's no twists in Cabin in the Woods. You know everything because they're laying it out for you
Is that
as
what
you're going.
makes a movie good?
That's
twist?
what makes it better.
No, it
Yeah.
was awesome.
The
I feel
twist
like
at the end of Saw.
I didn't get the twist of Cabin in the Woods right off the bat. It
How?
was just-
How?
I don't know, it was
They're
just
literally
like-
showing you
Yeah, I know,
as they're
and
doing it.
Right, then they did it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What is going on?
To be fair, yeah, like you, it's more like you know something's up, but you don't quite know the extent of what.
You don't know necessarily why it's happening, but it's
Yeah.
not like, why is this stuff happening?
Yeah.
They're literally like, let's pour on the gas. Let's do this.
Yeah,
let's
that
do
didn't
that.
make any sense to me, though.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So what? All right, let's first discuss the movie real quick. Then we'll get into what makes sense or doesn't make sense. So the premise of the movie is these kids go away to a cabin. They think they're just going for fun, similar to all the horror type of tropes of movies that do that type of scenario. And then you find out that they're
Straight Outta
actually
Evil
part of but also a ton of other movies. too.
Cabin,
Cabin
speaks
Fever.
Latin, dead come out of the ground.
So anyway, they go there, and that's all part of this ritual to keep these ancient demons at bay, basically.
Gods.
Whatever
Elder
they are.
gods.
The old ones.
The
I
old
think they
ones,
call
yeah.
them. Yeah.
To keep them at bay, and you have to make all these sacrifices, and it has to be in a certain order. So they basically lay it all out, so it's almost going to happen every time. And apparently every country in the world does it.
Well, I don't think they say every country, but
They do. They say all these other ones failed.
right, but they don't literally say every country.
I mean-
there's like 4.
There's way more than 4.
They're
When
like
you look on the
Brazil-
monitor, there's at least 12.
Okay, 12. So that's every country.
Well, no, I'm saying there's probably going to be more. You think it's just randomly 12 countries?
I think it. Yeah, I don't think like certain ones got the invite.
But anyway, so they have to perform this ritual, and if they don't, the old ones comes back. And so they put these teenagers in this scenario, and you're watching it unfold, it slowly starts to explain itself of what's going on. And then I guess you call them heroes of the story, eventually win, but then everybody dies. So that's kind of the premise of it. And spoilers, although it's like, I don't know, 15 years old. So what didn't you get right away, Mike, and what didn't you like?
For the record, when you say spoilers after you spoil it, it
I
doesn't
mean,
really help.
it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know. I guess it just wasn't what I was expecting. Like, you see, like, Cabin in the Woods, and you're like, oh, it's a horror movie, and it kind of was. But then it's like, oh, but it's an artificial horror movie.
That's why I liked it, because it wasn't what I expected.
Right. Again, like, I didn't think it was terrible. It was just weird.
And seeing those creatures all come out at the end.
That was the best part.
Oh,
The
yeah,
mermaid.
and murder everybody.
Yeah.
See, I hated the merman.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. He looked awful.
Yeah, but even him going to the one guy that wanted him to see him was so cliche, which, to be fair, might have been part
I
of
was
the movie.
going to say, the movie is supposed to be
It-
ripping on cliches.
It's supposed to be like a spoof of horror movies, yes.
Yeah.
But,
It's
so I
perfect.
hated that part, but I understood why they did it. I still
And
hated
then it shoots his blood out its blowhole.
Yes, that part was
Yeah.
great. That part was great. But seeing all those horror things murder everybody, yeah, it's hard to get better than that. Did you like the characters? Did you like any of the action?
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I didn't think it was bad. I thought the ending was the best part, just because seeing all of, like, every horror thing. I wish they would have, I guess, delved deeper into, like, how they got all these monsters caged up to begin with. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Like, they're
So they
job
say
is
that
to
the
keep-
old ones gave them those things to help perform these rituals.
right, but didn't they also say, like, they have adapted their sacrificial
The ritual?
rituals over time? Like, they started with just, like,
yes.
and then eventually they're like, this ritual's not good enough. You can have all these monsters.
So what I think the whole idea behind it is to make sure something was to happen. Because let's just say they only had the diary in the basement, where when she read it, that's why those creatures came up, the hillbilly zombies. If they just had that diary and nobody read it, what are you going to do with the ritual? So that's why they incorporated everything that they touched in that basement was one of those demon horror villains.
That's right. They
that
had
would have
to-
come up.
They had to choose the method of their
It
death.
was supposed to be a version of free will, kind of like their own sacrifice, because they're the ones choosing all these things. Now, granted, I don't even know what you want to call them. Right now, I'm just going to call them the corporation. The corporation decided, hey, we want to make sure that this is foolproof, so we're going to pump in toxins that make them dumber. We're going to dump in toxins that make them want to have sex. We're going to do all these things to basically put them in a position.
Last one's
to
just called
do it.
Air, by the way.
Air makes people want to have sex.
Right?
I mean,
It's
if you
pheromones.
don't have it, you won't have sex. That's for sure.
So, one of my favorites, speaking of the toxins, is when Chris Hemsworth gets back after his girlfriend was killed.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Oh,
he's like, okay, we gotta all hole up in a room and stick together. And then he walks through and they pump gas. He's like, actually, no, that's wrong. We should split up. And the high guy's like,
yeah.
why the hell would we do that?
And see,
The
that's
fool-
what I like.
The fool is the only person that's actually, like, logical.
Well, I love too
Yeah.
that the reason none of the toxins worked on him was because he was too high. Something he was smoking was stopping them from having an effect.
Yeah, whatever he was
Yeah.
smoking was basically canceling it out.
Yeah.
I also there's a theory, which I don't believe, but there is a fan theory that Chris Hemsworth is in on it. Up until the point where he crashes his bike, that it's his cousin's cabin. He pulls him out away, and only again, we're going to call him the corporation, doesn't tell him about the invisible force field thing. That's why he crashes into it, where he thinks he's going to actually be able to get away. But yeah, so there's that whole theory. And when I was rewatching it, some of it kind of holds weight for what it's
I just
doing.
watched it. I don't think that makes sense at all.
I think some of it holds weight, but again, it's one of those. I think if you talk to the director or the writer, they'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things. We'll talk about Saw in a second, but there's the whole theory that the kid from Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin's character, is Jigsaw because of all those traps that he does in the Home Alone movies, which if any of those actually happened, you die.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a Disney movie, nobody died. But in real life, you die. So there's that theory. But again, that's just one of those things that fans like to come up with, which I think same thing with the Chris Hemsworth character. It's just something fun for the characters to talk about. So when you first watched it, Corey, because Mike, you had never seen this, right? Until we made you watch it.
Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I didn't think so. So when you first watched it, Corey, home or in the theater?
Probably. I don't think I saw it in theaters. So
yeah, I don't think I did either. Was there something did you know about there being like a twist thing before you watched it?
I don't remember. It's so long ago. I just remember Chris Hemsworth was in it, and I was like, oh, sure, I'll give it a shot.
I was just told it's not what you expect.
And I also, the guy who plays the fools and a bunch of random stuff that I like. So I was like, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he looked familiar.
I know a bunch of the characters that were in the corporation, because it's the main guy there is from West Wing. He's also in the movie Get Out as the dad.
He's in Step Brothers. He's the dad from Step Brothers.
Yeah,
I was talking about the other guy, but yes, he's the guy from Step Brothers. The girl is Fred from Angel. I know you guys didn't really watch that. And then I guess he was security.
Yeah, security.
Which he's in a bunch of things. I think he was in. He was in The Shield with Michael Chiklis. He also had a great death scene, by the way. He got ripped to shreds by those zombies.
Yeah.
Was there a death scene in this, Mike, that you liked more than the others?
The whole end. Like, there's so many people that died.
I just didn't know if there was like a one creature where it killed that you were like, hey, I like this one.
No. I think the only one that I didn't like was the giant snake. It's just too big.
Yeah. Did eat that guy, though.
Yeah. But the rest of it was cool. The ghost that was going around killing people was fucking cool.
The giant ass bat that like lunged.
Vampire bat.
Yeah, like fucking shoved somebody through a wall.
The Hellraiser guys.
Hellraiser guy. Yeah, that was good. That's the guy who had that little puzzle in his hand, right? Yeah. He had like a bunch of blades in his head, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, blades.
You have the little girl that had no actual face, but had like mouths and teeth for her face.
She just looked like a of those things from the lake, a lamprey.
Oh yes, yeah. But yeah, I very much enjoyed just because of how different it was, and it didn't really keep you guessing. It was kind of weird to randomly see Susan Sarandon in the movie at the end.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't hear her voice at all until they get out of the elevator.
Weaver?
Sigourney Weaver? Was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Sigourney.
It's Sigourney Weaver?
I feel like this is the second time that you've...
They're like the same person.
They're not, though. They don't even look alike.
But yeah, okay.
Well...
I mean, yeah, I will say they look alike.
It's not that crazy to mix them up.
I don't know. Sigourney Weaver's from Aliens.
It is Sigourney Weaver. That's my bad.
Which one? It was Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt were in this movie. I think it was called Heartbreakers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Not Hugh Jackman. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
And the younger guy is that Jason Lee?
I don't know.
I think so. The guy from My Name is Earl.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think so. Very funny and also terrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap up Cabin in the Woods. Mike, you're the one that just watched it. If you had to give it a ranking, where do you think it goes?
7.3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie.
I know. When you texted us, though, it seemed like you weren't into it at all.
No, I didn't. I thought I was going to watch like a standard scary movie.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, we're going to need to add this and this. And they're like partying that all these people are dying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of the way the world works, where people compartmentalize. There are different aspects of life and everything else where you're focused on one thing, but you're not focused on how terrible something is, especially when you're considering the greater good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
And what about you, Corey?
I would give it a 8.5.
I'm also giving it an 8.5. That's where
okay.
I was headed with it because, yeah, it's just good.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks there shouldn't ever be a sequel, just because.
Right, I was thinking that too. I was like,
it would have to be a prequel.
Yeah,
That would be fine. If
But-
I could
but-
figure out how like the establishment was created to begin with, that would be cool.
Yeah, or
Where they have to like hunt the or they have to like capture the monsters.
or how do you figure out? Well, the old ones. How did they come to the? If we sacrifice these many people, you guys good? You'll stay dormant. And
a
then
prequel would be hard too, though, because like, what would the people do?
what do you mean? What people?
The people who were supposed to be sacrificed.
They would die.
So that's my point. The movie would just be them dying.
That's the movie Pompeii. You just watch them
understand,
die.
But the entire
That's the movie. What's the movie? The Star Wars good one.
Titanic.
No, I said Star Wars.
Titanic.
But yes, Titanic too. Except some people lived in that.
Right, but you knew exactly what was going to happen.
But
Some people
Star
should have
Wars,
lived.
Rogue One. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Everybody dies.
That's not true.
The planet dies. All the main characters die.
It's valid, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my point.
Best
like,
character
so,
in that
just 'cause you know
movie
it.
doesn't die.
Darth Vader.
Yeah,
At the very end.
Still the best part of that movie.
It was a nice transition from one to another.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a prequel. I don't think they will. There's been no real fanfare for it.
It's rated
but
like one of the best horror
It
movies,
is.
though.
Yeah. I just think it caught everybody by surprise.
So I give it an 8.5 overall, but I will say it's probably my favorite horror movie that's been made in the last... When did it come out?
The Cabin in the Woods came out in 2011.
Yeah, that's come
12
out
years ago?
since 2000. I'll just say since 2000.
I mean, you're wrong because Saw also
I
came
liked it
out.
better than Saw.
That's because you have wrong opinions, which is fine.
That's fine.
All right, so let's move on to Mike's choice, It. And now, did you watch well, first off, did anybody read the book?
Nope.
No.
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time?
I don't remember it, though. I remember there's like some...
The orgy scene?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some weird shit
I
in
feel
the
like we
book.
talked about it last year. I just don't remember in what context, but I know the orgy scene got brought up.
Yeah.
But all right, so Mike, did you watch I know it was a mini series on TV, but by the time you watched it, I'm guessing it was
No,
VHS,
I feel like I've seen
so-
like clips of it like on the TV in passing.
Yeah.
Like watching like scenes from it, but I remember seeing like Tim Curry as it because he has like that like Tim Curry face.
Oh, he does, and it's covered in the white makeup, and it's got the protruding head.
Yeah.
and it's so good.
Although still not a better it than Skarsgård.
That's hard for me because they're two different movies.
He's
One
not.
is more in what?
Bill Skarsgård's better.
No,
That's it.
no.
He is.
Yo, yeah.
Tim Curry
He
is
is
way
terrifying.
more terrifying without the ability to show gore, horror, and these terrible things. Because again, it was a mini series on TV, and the fact that he could do that and be that menacing without doing a rated R thing is crazy. So for me, Tim Curry wins out. But as an R, then yeah, he takes it hands down. You see it right in the very beginning when he rips the arm off Georgie.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting that because if you go back to the original, you don't get to see it. And that's kind of what I was expecting. And we went and saw the first one in theater. I think we saw the second one in theater too, but the first one
One
I
of them
remember.
I won tickets for us to see.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, remember there were those red balloons at...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were posting like pictures of where they were, right? And you just had to go
Or
get
yeah,
one?
or something, or they were given hints. I can't remember.
Yeah. So Yeah, so we saw the first one and he ripped the arm off, and that kind of set the tone for both movies, which I loved. But yeah, it's hard to, even though they're the same movie-ish, it's hard to put them both in the same category. One being having the total budget that you have for like a box office film, and one that's made for TV, that, especially TV in the, when was it? It was 1990. A psychological horror is what it's called.
Yeah, Bill Hader's It was better.
Bill Hader's It?
Not Bill Hader.
No, let's talk about Bill Hader's It.
I mean, Bill Hader was great in the movie.
He was in the second part. But let's focus on the first part.
Well, it'd be hard for him to be better in the first part.
They could have had flash forwards. Did you know that they filmed in alternate opening as kind of like a blooper / funny thing?
For what? Which one?
For It Part 1, where Georgie's talking to the clown.
Yeah, what was it?
So Georgie's talking to the clown, and then he's like, "Oh, you want your boat?" And Georgie's like, "Yeah." And he grabs the boat and says, "Thank you," and runs away. And Bill Skarsgård's like, "Well, shit."
Oh. So it was more like a blooper than.
Yeah,
like
I said it was like an alternate opening / blooper.
Okay.
But the fact that they included that and somebody wanted to film it is hilarious to me. What did you think about the first one when you saw it? And you didn't go with us, but I don't know if this was a movie that you went to the theater for, Mike, or if this is an at-home viewing.
I think I saw it at home. I think I saw the second one in movie theater.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'd have to look to see box office-wise. I assume that the second one did better just because of how good the first one...
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, no, actually. Completely the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. First one made $700 million, second one only $475. Now, I say only, but
What was the
budget?
Yeah.
Budget of the first one was only $40 million.
Wow, so that blew it out of the
Yeah,
water.
and then second one $80 million. So they still made a shit ton of money because even if you tripled that for advertising, you're only talking about $240 million. So you still made $200+ million of just pure profit.
Yeah.
Off the second one, and then obviously the first one made so much more than that.
The first one was kind of better.
I think you could say the same thing about the miniseries too. The first part with the kids was always better, and I think it's because they're kids and they're dealing with that horror element, and when you're an adult dealing with the horror stuff, it's less, what's the word I want to use? There's more of an emphasis that you'll kill adults than you will kill kids. So when you go to an adult and something scary happens, it's more about like how brutal can you be, and with the kids, it's more psychological.
That wasn't why I thought the first one was better. The second one just had some scenes where like the adult actors, I don't know, I didn't feel like as cohesive or as well rounded out, which is weird because they're adult actors who have a lot more experience. But like the kid scenes felt more like I was viewing something happening.
Yeah, it was organic.
Versus like, these guys are acting. And in the second one, it felt a little bit more like forced at times. So.
Yeah, I think it's something with the kids where they were able to get into like the characters of it because you believed everything they were doing because it seemed scary as shit.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Bill also scared the shit out of those kids at all time. Like, basically wore his makeup all the time.
Well, what happened is he didn't let them see him at all until the first time they all see him is in that house.
Yep.
And that was the first scene.
That's
they
a
ever
good
had.
fucking scene, too.
And then he came up to Finn Wolfgard after and was like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because he had gone like super aggro at him. And he's like, "No, that was great, dude. That was great acting choice." He's like,
yeah. But I think that's what it is. You could see their genuine fear rather than like the adult actors. We don't really see that. They're acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one did you prefer, Mike? Was it the first one? Was it the second one?
I feel like I liked the first one a lot just because it was the first one of that like R-rated genre.
Yep.
But I liked the second one because it's the continuation of the story. So, I don't know. I liked them both. I put them like equal.
Yep. Did you, when the first one ended, were you chomping at the bit for the second one? Like, I really want to see where it goes from here.
I don't know about chomping at the bit, but I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
because I saw the first one. I was like, oh, it's really good. And then it's a continuation of the same story. I mean, it's part 2, so you kind of have to watch it if you saw the first one and liked it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't technically have to, but it'd be a waste.
I know.
You kind of want to see how it ends.
Yep.
What about you, Corey? Were you chomping at the bit after the first one?
Like Mike, I wouldn't say chomping at the bit, but I was excited to see it.
That sounds like chomping at the bit. If you're excited,
I mean, I wasn't that excited. Let's put it that way.
I was excited. I wasn't that excited.
Yeah, it was.
You're great with your words.
Well, I mean, there's levels of excitement. I'm excited to go see the movie, but I have to go see it with KJ. You see,
have to, Mister. I won't go see movies alone, but yes,
I go see movies alone.
When's the last movie you saw alone?
I don't know.
See, there you go.
I don't know. It's just I don't do it as often because unlike you, I have people to go.
No, you don't. You go with me.
Exactly. I have people to go with.
I was going to say, he doesn't have to go alone.
Let's put it this way. If I want to go see a movie, I could just message you and be like, hey, I want to go see this movie. And 9.9
I like movies.
I know, but it could be a movie like, yeah, I'm not even that excited for it. You
want to see Frozen 2? Yeah.
I've only gone and seen one movie with you I didn't want to see, and that was the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts movie. And that was because it was on your fucking birthday.
Crimes of Grindelwald or whatever.
I don't know.
It was the last one, the one that we thought looked like it might be decent.
No, you thought it did.
No, bullshit.
No.
You looked at that trailer and you were like, yeah, the trailer does look good.
We can go back to the episode where we did it on it, and I specifically call you out for us going to see that when we could have went and saw the Nicolas Cage. I wanted to go see the Nicolas Cage movie.
I believe that after the fact you called me out.
Bullshit.
That's how you operate.
The extraordinary weight of massive talent we could have went and saw. And you were like...
Still haven't seen it.
It's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But you wanted to go see a horrible Harry Potter movie.
Because I looked at the trailer and it looked fine. And then you looked at the trailer and you said, actually...
I'm going to find those text messages. I'm going to send them to you tonight that specifically say, I fucking hate you.
KJ, I'm not saying that you didn't immediately after try to blame me.
I'm saying before.
Why would you say before I fucking hate you?
Because I don't want to go see this movie, but it's for your birthday, so I'll go. I fucking hate you.
Okay.
I will find those tonight.
Good. Hope you do.
Good luck.
I will. It's not hard. There's a search feature.
What a great use of your time.
I can do it while watching football.
If you look at the search feature and you just like search for like Corey, fuck you, it's gonna be the whole.
There's so many. All right. So what did we feel about the ending of part 2? Because I fucking hated it, but that's me.
The ending of part 2?
Yes.
Well, you said you loved it.
I fucking hate you so much.
That's the rest of this podcast for me. It's just going to be disagreeing.
Oh, you said this.
Yeah.
But no, what did you think of the ending of it part 2?
I did not. I don't know. Like, at first, I get it. They have to make him small, like he self-actualizes. I get it.
It's like the opposite of being
But
the
then
fear.
at some point, they're just yelling, clown, clown, clown. And then at one point, he jumps at them and the guy gets scared. And you would think that would like energize him, but it doesn't. It just doesn't. It didn't feel like it made sense. The premise made sense, but the execution didn't.
And what about you, Mike? What did you feel about that ending?
I mean, it fits the story, but it wasn't like visually fun to watch.
Yeah, it felt anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because the original one was very anticlimactic. Like ungodly anticlimactic with you see the spider. What is your problem? The dog.
I know, but I thought I heard somebody cough.
No, you heard the dog freaking out.
I hear the dog. I have a thing off. I'm pretty sure I heard somebody cough. Maybe it was outside.
Maybe.
Okay. I just was like, why is there somebody coughing?
There's 3 of us here. I think we'll be fine.
I'm not worried about it.
Could you hide behind us?
No, I'll go out the window.
Good luck. That window is like 2 inches big.
I will get through and you will not. Goodbye.
Yeah, I just if you guys remember the original ending, it turns into a giant spider and then it goes off. And then they end up like killing it, but not really. And it was not a good ending of the original one either. Except I know why it turned into a spider, similar to why it's a clown, because most people are...
Who were the adults in the original one? Anyone famous?
Yes. Oh, what is his name? Is it John Ritter?
Oh,
Is John Ritter in it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's John Ritter is one of them. The one of the girls is the person from Smallville who plays Clark's mom.
Oh, Annette O'Toole.
Okay. She's in it.
What?
You just pulled out the name there. All right.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
I'm good.
I'll agree with whatever you say because I don't fucking know at all.
He could have said anything.
To be fair, even
Sigourney Weaver.
I'm surprised he didn't.
Oh,
disagree,
yeah,
I don't
even
know
though
the name.
I understand. I'm still surprised you didn't
then
disagree.
I agree. No, that's not who it is.
No,
But
Tool-
she's in it. There's some other ones I just can't think of, like the. Did you ever watch Smart Kid on Disney?
Is that the black kid who was smart?
Yeah, the dad
Okay.
is the black
Was Mike.
is the black guy from the movie. Is that what his name?
Yes.
Mike. Okay. So yeah, he's in it. There's
Okay.
some other ones too that I can't think of what other things.
Well, I
they've
would
been
hope there would be. Cause
in. I just can't think
we're
of what
missing
else
some
they've
characters.
been in.
So Annette O'Toole must have played Olivia or Liv or whatever her name was.
Yeah, I mean there was only one girl, so yeah.
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 Is that her name, Olivia?
I don't know.
Can't remember.
I could look it up, but I don't want to.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean it would take effort.
Beverly.
Yeah,
They called her-
Beverly. Yep.
They called her Bev. I was thinking they called her Liv.
Lev.
Love.
So yeah, that's the only part I really didn't like was the ending, just because I mean it fit in the sense of the story, but I just hated it. It just didn't look as good as everything else looked.
I didn't really
Where
like
does The Shining take place?
Where?
Maine.
Is that also Maine?
Yeah,
Yeah, all Stephen King stories are in Maine.
Are they?
isn't Derry in New Hampshire?
Derry is
Derry's
supposed to
Maine.
be is supposed to be Bangor.
Oh, well, there is a Derry, New Hampshire, just for
Why
the
there's
record.
the
Oh, I
giant
know.
fucking lumberjack.
That's why. Oh, you mean in the movie?
in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought you meant
fuck.
like that's why they have it in Bangor because of the
No.
movie, and I was like, that's not right. But there is a Derry, New
Paul
Hampshire.
Bunyan.
Sure, but
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Derry in his movies
It's
is
supposed
Maine.
to be Bangor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did you say you didn't like?
I didn't like when they left, their memories went away. Again, I don't dislike the
Well,
premise.
that's part of the original.
I
too.
understand.
Okay.
It's not the premise. It's how they were
Starts to
like
come
sitting
back.
around the table, and it was just like, oh yeah.
I mean, that
Well, it's
kind of makes
hibachi,
sense of
man.
that. Well, that's too.
Hibachi
Um,
brings back
Was that
memories.
not Orient? Did you guys ever go to Oriental Jade in Bangor
No.
back in the day? I swear to God, that was supposed to be Oriental
Oh,
Jade.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that the ideas as they're reminiscing, that then things just like the fog starts to fade, and it's while they're in the town too, and it's supposed to be
again,
something to do with his powers.
The premise I get. I just didn't like the way they were remembering. It just
They're
felt
going
like,
around the table being like,
yeah. Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
I remember.
I remember.
What do you guys think about the prequel TV show that's coming to Max?
I didn't know they had one.
also didn't
All
know.
right. Well, I'm glad you guys keep up on things. I got you covered. Yes, they are doing a prequel series. It's not Bill Skarsgård, which kind of sucks, but about
Is it his
first
brother,
coming.
Gustav?
No,
Okay.
It first coming.
it first coming to America.
It coming to America.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's got
I thought
Eddie
you-
Murphy.
I thought
Yeah,
you were
I was
saying
gonna
the
say.
title at first. And I
No,
was
it's
like,
called
what?
Derry.
Oh, I might have heard about that actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about it last year.
Oh, now
too.
that you put the name of the town, I've definitely heard of it.
I
That's
definitely
before.
know what you guys are talking about.
Well, they've had a
Okay.
handful of shows in
About
Derry.
In Derry?
Yeah, like they had the Stephen King. What was the show where it was like an insane asylum or something? I can't. It's like a lot of Stephen King's stories wrapped up into one show, and I can't think of the name of it.
No idea.
I think it only lasted a season.
But I don't think it was called Derry.
No, he said it's in Derry. Like
I know, but just because I said the word Derry, then he thinks he knows.
No.
the show.
It's this. The show was set in Derry. A lot
I
of his
understand.
books are set in Derry.
That sounds really weird when you say
It
Set
does,
in-
but
set in Derry?
you say it.
But yeah, so they have the prequel series coming. I'm a little bit excited just to learn about some of the lore.
Castle
of
Rock.
It. Okay.
That is the name of the show.
I've heard of Castle Rock.
Yeah, it had 2 seasons.
But yeah, so I'm curious to see how they go with that. Is that something you guys are interested in actually seeing more of it,
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it.
Corey?
It.
We've said it so many times. All I can think of is Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
But that's still not an answer.
What was the question?
Are you gonna watch it? The prequel series?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. I don't know when it's set to come out. I don't have that.
There's never really a good horror TV series that I've seen.
Scream tried and it was awful.
Yeah.
And I love Scream, but the
actually,
TV show
you know what
was
one I liked? I'd call it more of a thriller than horror. Was what is it called? You know, it was a show where they go back home to like an island for a wedding, and then there was a murder that took place there when they were younger, and then they start murdering the townspeople, and I'm fucking blanking on the name. It was like a standalone mini series, but it was like 10 episodes. It was so good.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I will find it.
Okay. I got
This is
nothing.
reminding you of it?
No, just
Harper's Island.
Harper's Island.
You're welcome.
Loved it. Highly recommend.
Yeah, that's fucking 2009.
What's it rated?
7.4 on IMDb.
Okay, I'll take it. I mean, it's
That's
horror
pretty good
based.
for a horror.
Yeah, I was
Horror
going to
is pretty
say.
good for horror.
Rated
But
always
it's
low.
not really horror, though, right? It's the thriller.
Well, I mean, it's
Suspense. You
it's
don't
a
know what's going to
slasher.
happen.
Like there's like the guy is a killer going around killing people, but it's more about like who is it?
Who done it?
Who done it?
Whodunit.
Because all these people come back to the island after being gone for
And
so
they're
long.
all suspects.
Essentially, and then it gets to the point. It kind of had vibes of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, where they're on the island and
They're at the Bahamas.
yeah, and everybody's dying.
And then you have Jack Black there for no fucking reason as the goddamn guy with dreads.
Rastafarian.
Yeah.
yeah.
So bad.
Jack Black was in a lot of random movies. Did you ever
Back
see
then.
the movie with Richard Gere and Bruce Willis where they're assassins or something?
Oh, the
Jackal? Yeah.
Fucking love Jackal.
And Jack Black sells him the gun.
The gun, and then he says, I think it's a little bit off. No, it's not off. Hold out their cigarettes.
Blows
bye-bye
his
arm.
arm right off.
Yeah, a Jackal. That's I haven't seen that in a very long time.
That was one that was on TV
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how I first watched it.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just continued to watch it, and it was a very good movie. It's not though. It's actually a bad movie, but it's a good movie.
Another Richard Gere one on TV all the time. First Night with him and Sean Connery
Yeah,
about
that's
King
a good one.
Arthur.
Camelot.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's just do a thing about made-for-TV movies from back in the day.
that wasn't a made.
Well, that's true.
movie.
None of them were, but just made-for-TV movies / movies that played on TV nonstop.
Nonstop. Knight's Tale was on there for a long
Love
time.
Knight's Tale.
I
Knight's
know you
Tale
do.
might be one of my. It's definitely in my top 10.
It's probably one of your favorite guilty pleasure movie.
I don't even consider it guilty pleasure. If you read into the script, it's genius how they reference the Canterbury Tales with all of these characters.
Okay.
It's a literary masterpiece that plays David Bowie in the 18th century.
You've seen Knight's Tale, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking love it.
It's got a good cast too.
Yeah, Mark Addy, I think is his name, the guy who played King Baratheon.
Yeah. Robert Baratheon.
And then you got
Heath Ledger, obviously.
Heath Ledger, and then
the guy who played Jarvis.
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got the guy who plays Wash from
Is that the weird looking guy?
Serenity, Firefly. Yeah.
The redhead, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
blanking
yeah.
on his name too, but
It's got the girl that she used to
He's
be
also,
very
he's also
popular.
in Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
yeah, also a great horror movie spoof.
I tried to convince my wife to watch that. She
Oh, it's so
refused
good.
to. She's like, I don't watch stupid.
Dude, I
comedy
love when
movies.
the
Like,
cop
it's
shows up.
comedy movies.
The cop shows up after all the kids have killed themselves, or like the young adults.
Yeah.
And they're trying to explain to the cop, they're like, all these kids, they just kept running at us, killing them. All kinds of
The
ways.
guy, suicide pact. He just threw himself in a wood chipper.
Have you seen that?
I don't think I have.
Oh,
Oh my
got
god!
it.
Apparently, I
it's-
need to.
It is a fucking great movie.
All right. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. So let's move on to clearly
Saw.
the best movie out of all of them.
Oh, we're going back to Cabin in the Woods?
No, definitely not Cabin in the Woods. So yeah, let's go to Saw, which was at least initially an indie movie that blew up to like ungodly margins for
I can
the studio.
imagine that the first movie has a super low budget.
Oh, yeah. I think it was less than $1 million.
What? I was
Yeah, let me
thinking
go
like
look.
under 20.
The
but
only big
No,
actor.
1 million.
Yeah, the only big
1
actor
million.
there, and I hesitate to say big, was Carrie Ells.
How dare you?
Name something other than Princess
Bride. Liar, liar.
His role in that is like that big.
It's pretty fucking big.
All right.
It's pretty fucking big.
Also,
The claw's gonna
gonna
get you.
piss you off on
The
this
claw's
too.
gonna get you. Psych. I mean,
I don't understand how you haven't said the only other movie where he is noteworthy in.
what movie's that?
We're men.
Oh,
Men
yeah,
in
Robin Hood Men in
Tights.
Tights. Such a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's also one of the reasons I thought he was gonna like go, Princess Bride, Robin Hood Men in Tights. How is he not the next like fucking leading man?
Well, those are all spoof movies.
Princess Bride's not a spoof movie.
It's kind of a spoof movie if you really get into it. It's a funny movie.
Because it's a funny movie doesn't make it a spoof. Is every comedy movie a spoof? Don't think you know what spoof means.
It's a spoof on the fantasy epic saga.
It is the fantasy epic saga.
Yeah.
And it's fucking fantastic. He's so fucking good. That's still in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's so damn good.
It's not even breaks my top 100.
That's because you have bad taste. What can I say?
Robin Hood Men in Tights is better.
No, but that's such a fucking
It is.
funny movie. It's
Yeah.
so fucking funny.
Anyway, I'm also going to piss you off and say that I rewatched it today.
Which? Robin Hood Men in
Saw.
Tights? Oh, Saw.
Yeah, just randomly wrote.
I mean,
Carrie Ells
yes.
acting is not good.
Oh,
in
it's
that movie.
not great. It's
Yeah,
not great.
It's rough.
It's overacting a lot of the time.
And then underacting at other times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, why aren't you upset?
When he's shouting at like the phone, and there's tons of scenes, but it doesn't matter. The movie's great.
That's why I'm saying the only reason you think that movie is better than the other two is because the twist is so amazing.
Well, there's
at the
a lot
end.
of them because they try to keep you guessing through the whole thing, so you don't know that you're thinking that might be the orderly Zap.
And then it's not. That's the twist.
No, and then when what's his face gets him, he's like, "Who ordered you, or who hired you to take these pictures?" It's some guy with a scar, some black tall dude. Then you think maybe it's
But
Danny
you already
Glover.
knew at that point that it was the detective.
Well, no,
You thought that meant that he was Saw?
that he was Saw. You mean Jigsaw?
Sure.
He was Saw. Maybe he was seen.
Is that really what you thought at no point did I think that's what they were trying to tell
I'm
me.
definitely telling you that's one of the things they were trying
Doesn't
to
even
tell
make
you.
sense.
That's okay.
Because there's the scene where you see him and his partner, and Jigsaw kills his partner.
And everybody else who he has taken ends up being an apprentice of his. Maybe he went onto the dark
not
side.
in Saw 1.
No, but they could have been leaning into
So
that.
you were using things from movies you hadn't seen
No,
yet.
I'm
when
telling you
watched
what
it
the
first
director
time.
has said.
Okay, I'm saying at the time where we watched it, Danny Glover was not a suspect on my radar at all.
I didn't have him as a suspect.
That's
but
my point.
It was weird.
So there was
Is this
only
about
one twist.
Spiral?
No, Danny
Oh.
Glover. Not Samuel L. Jackson, not Chris Tucker, but Danny Glover, the guy from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
He's the cop in the first Saw.
I'm too old for
Oh,
this
wow.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah. So they do a thing where they do that reveal where they change the music. They are literally trying to imply that he's at least he might not be the Jigsaw killer, but he implied that he's the one that put them in the room.
Nah, I didn't think that at all.
I didn't either,
Yeah.
but that's what they were implying.
So there was only one real twist for me, and it was the end where the guy in the middle stands up.
yeah, Jigsaw, Tobin Bell,
Yeah.
fucking fantastic. Tobin
Other
Bell.
than that, no real twists.
Let's see. So you have they obviously try to make you think, granted it doesn't really make sense because then he's captured himself, but they try to make you think that it's Carrie Ells when they're doing the flashback of showing the cops interviewing him and that they found his pen, and then they keep doing all of these certain things could take a surgical precision to do.
Like I said, only one real twist in the movie.
That's the only twist you need.
And all throughout the movie, you
Look
have
at
to
Fight
deal
Club.
with...
There's
all
only one
throughout
twist
the
you
movie,
need.
you have to deal with bad acting.
I don't know. What's his face actually? The non-actor in the
Adam.
movie, yeah, does
Yeah,
really
he
good.
was good.
Yeah,
I agree.
What's her face? Amanda does
Yeah.
really good for
That's
her role.
the wife in Con Air.
No.
Yes.
No, not.
Oh, not Amanda.
There
the
you
wife.
go.
The wife.
Yes.
I thought that's who you were
Carrie
saying.
L's wife. Yes.
Yeah, Carrie L's wife is the
Amanda,
wife
the
in
one
Con
that
Air.
has the reverse
Hummingbird.
bear trap on her, or the
Yeah.
bear trap.
Reverse bear trap.
Yeah. Yeah, her.
Yeah, she
she's
was
great.
fine.
She's from Becker.
I know.
I know you know, because you've watched Becker.
Damn straight.
That was a good show.
It was a good show.
It shouldn't have been. Like, it really.
He always reminded me of my dad because he
Is
was
it like a spin-off
upset.
of something?
I don't think so.
That's Becker was like a
Becker,
spin-off
I
of
believe,
a
was
show.
a spin-off off maybe Cheers.
Cheers, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
It can't be a spinoff of Cheers.
Why?
One, it's like 2 decades after Cheers, and 2,
Well, Frasier was a spin-off off Cheers.
yeah, which happened like right after.
Okay,
It might not be a
that's what it
spin-off.
is.
We might just be thinking that because Ted Danson was in both.
Is in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can't
yeah,
remember though.
Frasier is. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
Frasier is absolutely, and then they're bringing that back. By the way,
Really?
yeah. Like I don't even know if it's
It's
already
already
out or
back.
it's about. Okay, it did already come out.
Yeah.
All right. And no, oh my God, it went 129 episodes.
Becker?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
6
surprised.
seasons.
It was
That's
on like
good.
every morning I got up.
Yeah.
Well, it was
6 in the
that. It was
morning,
like
I'd watch it.
ABC on Friday or whatever.
Well, no, I don't know when you watched
No,
it.
it was CBS.
I
Okay,
used to
that's-
watch it
yeah.
at like
in the morning.
6:30 in the
but
morning.
that was probably after like it got into syndication,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be like primetime, like CBS.
Yes, it
primetime,
was.
Yeah.
5:30 or something.
Yeah, from 98 to 04.
Used to
Yeah.
watch that.
My mom
Then I'd
used to
watch
watch
Saved by the Bell. Then I'd go to school.
I did the exact fucking
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Saw, I will
When
agree.
you wake up in the morning.
I will agree the acting's not great. Although Danny Glover did a good job. The Asian, his partner, I
Yeah.
thought did a fine job. Carrie L's wife, I thought did a fine job. Zapp did a great job of being a
That's- what's
menacing
his
weird
face
guy
from
from
Lost.
Lost. Yep.
Yeah.
Like so that
Everybody
part, it was
except
mostly,
Carrie
but
Ells.
Carrie Ells was
Unfortunately, he's half the fucking movie.
I know. But the movie, the premise of the movie that you get put in a room and you need to potentially kill the other person in there to save your family was an interesting premise. The premise of you get basically locked away and you need to make sure you have to succeed at some puzzle or game or something to get out, and it's going to hurt. Every single one of his puzzles hurt. So, like, that's a very interesting concept. And then, yeah, when you get to the end, your mind gets blown by what they're doing. So, what did you guys... Well, first off, I didn't see this one in the theater. It's the only one I didn't see in the theater because I didn't really know anything about it. I, again, was just told it has a hell of a twist and you won't expect it. And I went in and I was like, the person that told me this is an idiot. I know exactly what to expect. And then I was wrong. So, did you see this in theater, Mike? No. Did you expect the ending?
No, I don't know. I don't really go into movies trying to figure the who done it.
It's not about necessarily figuring out who done it, but because in this movie they basically spoon feed you that it's Zepp doing it. So there's really in your mind until you see Zepp's tape, there's nothing to figure out. What?
I was gonna say my favorite thing about like a whodunit movie is going to see it with KJ, and then afterwards he goes, "Yeah, I knew about 5 seconds in what was going on."
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to bug you during the movie and be like,
Yes.
"That's the killer"?
No, you know what you should at least do is send me a text.
Don't look at this right now.
Yeah,
but here you go.
I want you to know that I was
He's
right.
gonna have 17 texts.
Yeah.
I think it's this. Wait, no, I think it's this.
Yeah. Otherwise, bullshit.
You can say whatever you'd like.
Well, sometimes I'm right there with you because I'm like, oh yeah, that was obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other times I'm just
did
like,
you see
okay.
Shutter Island?
Yeah.
I called that within the first 4 seconds of the movie.
You're amazing.
No, I'm just like, it was so obvious. And then I didn't understand everybody being like, it's a huge twist at the end that he's actually a patient.
Yeah, I don't really remember that movie enough to care.
No.
If I'm being honest.
But
it
a lot
was
of
a
people had
forgettable
that.
movie to me. Probably it wasn't a big twist because I don't care about that movie at all.
Yeah. But yeah, so what did you think, Corey? Did you have any idea of the ending when you got to that part?
There was a point when, because they talk about him poisoning somebody, earlier on, like one of his earlier victims, he poisoned, and then he had long to like. It was one of the early when you're seeing the flashback of
you
the
only
cases.
see 2, and you see the guy that
No,
has.
you see more than 2.
You see 2.
Okay.
It's the guy that cuts. It has to go through the barbed wire,
Reverse
and then
bear
you see
trap.
Amanda.
Yeah, and then you see the guy who burned himself.
Is that the first one or the second one?
That's the first one. I haven't even watched the second one in forever, so it's the first one. I just watched it today.
Well, he's the one that's poisoned.
The guy who has to burn himself?
Yeah, because the antidote's in the safe.
That's right. But so that's what I mean. So he had a toxin in him and an hour left. And so when you see the guy working on the computer, I think you actually see it at the end. Like they show it like, oh, you should have seen this. But he's coughing a lot. And
Zep, yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if he's been poisoned. Because it just seemed weird. Because obviously when you're watching it the first time, I know you don't know who Tobin Bell is. But you see the guy when they come across him in
see him. Are you talking about the orderly, or are you talking about Tobin Bell?
Tobin Bell.
Okay.
When the police raid his building,
Yes.
you see him, and that's not the orderly.
It could have been. He's under a cloak.
No, when you can like practically see that it's a tall, skinny, old white guy with white. Like I feel like it's so obvious that he doesn't look like the orderly.
You know what annoys me? I
What?
wish I was more a fan of Tobin Bell at the time, because he uses his real voice.
Is that the actor?
Yeah, Tobin Bell is Jigsaw. Like Tobin Bell's his real name. His name is John Kramer in the movie.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's Tobin's Bell real voice. Like that's
Yeah.
just what Tobin Bell sounds like. If you would have known what Tobin Bell
Why
sounds
would you
like,
want to be spoiled like that?
no, I'm just saying like it should have just been instant. Like think if you're a Tobin Bell fan or family and you go see this movie,
Yeah.
you just instantly know it's him.
Yeah, well, that would suck.
Yeah, I'm just saying like he didn't. It's not like he was using disguised voice. Not like Scream where they have the voice modulator. It's just him.
Fucking hate
being
that
talking.
thing.
The voice modulator?
Because there's been so many killers in Scream, and all of them sound alike, and that's not how it would work.
Well, what if they're all using the same voice?
I was gonna say
modulator?
there's
Sure, if you put my voice and your voice to the exact same modulation, it's gonna sound different.
That's not true. You can adjust the stuff to make it sound how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah, Ollie sounds like Darth Vader.
I've done the Darth Vader mask thing, and when
Darth
you do
Vader?
it or somebody else
Who's
does it, it
Mater?
sounds different.
Is that the
Darth
fucking?
Vader. This is the tow truck guy.
Is that the tow truck guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking what's his face?
Nah.
Who's not even Southern, by the way. Like that's a fake accent.
What? How do you know he's not Southern?
Because he's done an interview literally saying, "Yeah, I do the accent for my tour. My dad used to travel around a lot, so I can do this accent, this accent, this
I'm
accent."
talking about
Yeah, Bill, not Bill Engvall. Damn it, the Get Her
Larry
Done
the
guy.
Cable
There it
guy?
is. Yeah, it's just all fake.
Oh, he doesn't have a Southern accent.
Correct.
I thought you were like, how does Mater not have a Southern accent? Like,
He's a truck.
There's a deep
Yeah.
backstory on Mater.
yeah, Mater is actually wasn't a tow truck.
Mater actually worked for the mob and was hiding in the
yeah,
south.
that's what I was thinking. He's
So he has an
actually
Italian
from New York.
accent.
Yeah.
Hey, I've come
Forget
to,
about it.
yeah, I've come to take your car here. He's not really a tow truck. He's actually like he just steals the cars.
There you go. But yeah, so because of the first movie, it has set me up to watch all of them, and I have gladly.
Second
even
one
though
is better
some
than the
of them,
first.
second one is not better than
It
the
is.
first. It's not.
It is.
It's again.
You just
it's
can't be
still
objective because the first brought you into the universe.
not. It doesn't have a good of a twist.
The second one is better acted all throughout.
Oh yeah.
Who cares about
Yeah.
the one twist? I
The
care.
one, there's 3 in the second one.
I was gonna say the second one's twist is just as good. That Amanda is fucking working with Tobin Bell.
That's not. I mean, that's one of the twists.
That's
The other twist is that it's.
the kid's in the safe the whole time.
And the other twist is that the things happening on the screen are not real time.
I understand. All better twists.
Then Tobin Bell being in the middle of the room the entire fucking time.
Collectively better twists. and I don't have to watch shitty acting to get there.
You had Wahlberg in that. Donnie
Wahlberg, yeah, as
who
the detective.
did a very good job being that character.
He's a good cop.
He is. That's
Yeah.
and I'm watching it now, and I want to do an episode on it when we get towards Veterans Day. But Band of Brothers,
Oh, yeah,
he's
yeah.
so fucking good in that too.
Love Band of Brothers.
Yeah, and he's a soldier, which cop. Like that's just what he should be in everything he acts.
Sure,
But all right, I don't think I even asked. So let's go back. Let's rank it. Let's rank Saw, and then let's call this a day.
It is 3/4 of a Cabin in the Woods.
3/4. Well, you only gave Cabin in the Woods an 8.5, so 3/4 of 8.5. That seems low for it.
No, I'm just saying Cabin in the Woods is perfect, and it's 3/4 of that, so it's a 7.5 on the Cabin in the Woods scale.
Anywhere near perfect.
No, I'd give it 1. I would give 8. It 2. I'd give a 7.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
Guys are a bunch of copycats.
I give it
because the ending of it too is not great, so
and the acting's not quite up to par for me either.
It does have some great scenes in it, though.
It does.
With Bill Hader, everything with that kid that grows up with his weird mom. So then when he's an adult, like all that stuff with her,
I do like when
creepy.
he gets puked on by the thing, and he's like, "Ha! I got you!" And then it's like,
yeah.
Shit.
I would do an 8.5 and an 8. I think 8.5 for the first one because it is so much better. And then the second one's an 8, and that's only an 8 more or less because of the ending.
And then Saw
is a 9.
Saw 1.
So
Saw
you just ignore the acting, even though you admit it's bad acting.
Yes, because of how.
That's what I mean. You
have to look,
but you're not objective.
That is objective.
No, you just
objectively
love the
or not.
franchise,
Otherwise,
so
it's a 10. Otherwise,
you're not
it's a 10.
objective. I give it a 7.5.
That's too low.
Nope.
Yep.
Mike.
Yeah, I would put it right along the 7.5.
Stop copying Corey.
I almost went 7.
I agree with him now. Okay, 7.3. How's that?
You bitch, go higher.
It's just bad acting, which
by one person.
Who's half the movie?
He's not half the movie. He's like maybe
feel
a
like
third.
He's literally half the budget, probably.
I feel like
Danny Glover.
Saw just has like the ultra gory.
Not the first one.
The guy cuts off his
That
foot.
cutting off the leg thing
It doesn't
was
even
cringe.
show it.
Yeah,
it shows you a little bit of blood, and then it cuts away and just shows you his face going.
It showed
and then
enough.
It didn't.
Yeah,
it's only
I got
in
the
the
idea.
second, third, especially the fourth one where the gore goes fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that's
that's
when they all
the
suck.
thing
But
that
he
I
then
don't
starts
get
dragging
behind.
himself, and you can't see his dead foot or whatever. It's literally his pant leg hanging over it, and you'd see nothing.
Yeah,
Well, his
that,
They
foot
didn't
is
have the
still-
budget for gore. It's $1 million.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I like that all the scenes in the parking garage look like they were done in like a horse stable.
What do you mean?
Probably were.
It's like not a parking garage. It's like an old wooden barn looking thing.
No, I don't know.
It's
They probably were
really
like, "Hey,
weird.
where can we rent real
I
cheap?"
know. Well, that's why I was like, okay, so this is not a big movie. Like
no.
he's basically supposed to be going to a motel to see that Asian chick.
Yes.
And then he comes out into the parking garage, and
Yes.
it's like a 1-story shack of a parking garage. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The movie made over $100 million profit, though.
I know. Good for them.
Yeah.
People got past the fact that Carrie Ells acts like shit, apparently.
I thought his acting as a doctor was fine, but yeah, at the moments where he was upset and fighting with Adam and then yelling at the phone and the camera were just overacting.
Yeah. And then when he's crying about my family, it's like really bad.
Yeah, it's not the best. But everything else is great.
Which Saw do you find out that this has already happened, right?
So Saw 2 is still going. Saw 3 has its movie, and then it's Saw 4 that's actually happening at the exact same time as Saw 3.
I feel like
They're not worth watching past Saw 2, if I'm being honest. But I will now because I've watched enough of them.
How dare you?
They're not.
3 and 4 are great because of the fact that they're happening simultaneously
what's
and you
the
have
one
no
with
idea.
the Pit of Needles.
Saw 2.
Okay, that's the one that I
That's
stopped
really good.
watching.
That's the last good one.
That's cringy.
How is that cringy?
The needles.
They're all fake?
So
What about the
saying.
blades? When she has to reach up?
That was ugh. Like it was a throwaway, which I hated.
or
Nah, I
being
thought-
sprayed. All right. So since you love
Love.
Saw so much,
Which, by the way, real quick,
in order,
Escape Room. That's one of the reasons why I love escape rooms.
name the
Best
torture
Saws?
chambers
Oh, I can't. Of which
In order.
ones?
in Saw.
Well,
All right, I got this. So you have the first torture chamber was the reverse bear trap,
no,
and then you got the third movie, which was just fucking awful.
no. So the first
Then
trap
the
is
fourth movie.
the first trap is actually the barbed wire basement. The second trap is the.
Does he have to put his hand in like
how do you
thing
know
of
that?
barbed wire?
They don't say that.
They
in
do.
there.
They're showing you the order when you're watching the movie, and that's the first one you see, and then they go to the next one, and then they go to the next one. They show you all
But
three.
then don't you find out he did this before in the most recent one? Isn't that a prequel to all of
No,
this?
so this is so it Saw 1 and then Saw 10.
Oh, my
1,
bad.
then 10. But
I should have known
yes.
that's how it counts.
Star Wars.
You want to know why that happened? They had saw the final chapter, and then they were
that
like,
was Saw 7.
and then they were like, "Oh, it can't be done."
Well, no, so
And then they're
Wait,
like,
wait, we're still making money?
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, these movies are getting bad. Let's bring back Tobin Bell to make it a big thing." So they make Saw 10, where it's
which
a
is the
prequel.
highest rated Saw movie that's ever been.
I'm sure.
It's great.
They couldn't make it worse.
I'd probably give it
they
a
could.
7.6.
That's true.
How dare you, sir?
Straight
it's
to
lucky.
DVD Saw.
No, definitely not straight to DVD.
That'd be
It's
Saw
like the
6.
7th highest grossing horror
Which
franchise
Saw
of all time.
is the one where it's like on a public street?
That's Saw 7.
That's garbage.
Yes, it made no sense. None of the other. It was supposed to be a commentary on
How bad Saw is?
No, the commentary on everybody being on their phones and social media and everything needing to go viral.
No, it's
but
Spiral. Which one's that one? 9?
That is technically Saw 9, which is like a spin-off. Because it has nothing to do with Tobin Bell except for it being a copycat. It's a copycat killer.
It's Chris Rock.
Well, he's not the copycat killer, but yes, he's in it.
He's in the movie.
So is Samuel L. Jackson,
I thought,
who has a great
Jigsaw?
death scene.
What's
Great
Jigsaw?
death scene. Jigsaw is technically a prequel as well.
Oh,
You see why the I
Star
literally
Trek
say
timelines.
after the
There are
second
no
one be
space
done,
whales. There are no space
that's
whales.
Star
Give
Wars.
it time. He's going to be torturing a space whale.
Yeah, it's Star Trek timelines.
All right.
I went back in time so I could torture him twice.
Fuck you guys. It's a great damn movie. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. Next week we'll talk about something. Maybe we'll talk about the whatever you guys said, the Dale and Tucker or whatever the hell it's called. Or
Tucker
maybe
and Dale
we'll do
versus Evil.
Dale and Tucker vs. Evil.
Yeah.
Is it versus Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's Verse Evo. I just didn't know their names. Maybe we'll do horror TV shows. Maybe we'll do something Halloween-y.
Does Reaper count? Anyone ever watch Reaper?
I feel like you've asked us that before.
Oh, it's such a good show.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be something Halloween-y.